Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Laurynas Nacevičius. He's co-founder at Meetelp. He's empowering mental health through personalized connection. We're going to talk today about psychology, matchmaking, mental health, because he has a background in dating, which is also interesting. We're going to talk about startups, we're going to talk about B2B and everything in between. This pod is presented to you by podpire.com. That's my podcasting company. If you want to start or scale your podcast, monetize your pod, you can go to podpire.com. Lodi, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about Meetelp.
So yeah, thank you for inviting me here. My name is Laurynas. I am from Lithuania, a pretty small country in Europe, who has already 2 unicorns. Well, 3 to be soon, and we're trying to be the next one here. I mean, if we're talking about Meetelp, not like many startups or ideas, it doesn't have a very nice or sweet beginning, a very joyful one. It began with a very cruel problem of mine because one of my dearest friends tried committing suicide, and well, luckily he was unsuccessful with that. He survived and he is all well by now, but the experience left a big scar in my in my lifetime, as well as an understanding that there was a big problem in the market and in the, I'd say, in the whole structure of how Lithuanians perceive mental health overall. And so I teamed up with a couple of guys and one girl, and we are trying now to change the whole system here, at least in Lithuania, at least in Europe. Of course, we have plans to go overseas. But for now, we're trying to really concentrate on our users, understand what the main things are that stop them from getting the help they need, the real help and the good help. Yeah, and yeah, we're just doing a startup.
And how old are you today?
Today, I am 22 years old. I'm gonna be 23 in a couple of months, but until then, I'm still a psychology student who's 22 years old, fresh out of school and so on. Yeah.
Well, you took the right decision, in my opinion, to go launch a business. I
Thank
got
you.
serious about my own businesses at 20, and I'm 30 years old today, and I can tell you that it was hard, but yeah, it was the best decision ever. And yeah, your first startup, you might hit or miss, might be a bullseye, and you might be somewhat quote unquote lucky. It's a cool business also that you're launching, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But first, I mean, if your best friend tried to commit suicide, that must have felt pretty terrible. It's like, why didn't he speak to me, or why didn't she speak to me? And what was going on through that person's mind? Because you think you know them, but there's so much going in, So how did that left a mark on you?
That's a good question, actually. Well, maybe it's not that ethical to say, but he was my best friend. He was just a friend, so I know that's unethical, but that's an easier way because that's not a big of a burden for myself. If you would have been my best friend, I have no idea how I would have felt right now and how this whole thing would have evolved. Because the whole struggle of not being the person who is going through the survival crisis, but being the one who is beside the person is, well, it's evenly hard for both of the for both people, but I don't know.
Did you feel
The fact that
powerless?
no, I wouldn't say that. I study psychology myself, and I know how to emotionally distance myself from this problem of another person, so that I don't feel the same burdens that he is feeling, but I still felt that I should have done something more, maybe. Yes, I know this is an intrusive thought, and that isn't it a real thing, but still the feeling remains inside. And well, of course, I would have loved to have a different experience then, and so everything would turn out. Well, it turned out good in the end, but still, it could have been really wrong. It could have went really wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I got a couple of friends that, especially in young age, they did it. Some were successful, some were not. Is it, yeah, like coming out of adolescence and still not being able to find yourself at 18, at 19, and it also it's that life is lived quite differently by different folks. You know, like we started saying, like me, I'm naturally happy. I guess happiness comes easy for me. I mean, adolescence was never easy, but some people they just struggle to just live. And you know, they wake up and it's a struggle from the moment that they wake up, you know, and even when they're asleep sometimes. So how is your current application, your current startup, how is it helping solve that problem?
For the people or for myself, you mean? Because, well,
For everyone.
for the people, um, we try the only thing we can, yes, to give them help, or maybe I say differently, to provide them with the help that they can take the easiest way, yes, because you can't force anyone to get help or to do something with their lives, yes, uh, but you can provide with tools, with opportunities, and with the easiest way to get help for everyone, for themselves, yes. So I think that's where we're aiming, just to create an easy path to a healthy mind, which is, in my opinion, I don't know if that's a saying in English, but the backstone of all problems, I would say so. Yeah. So it's the,
Backbone.
yeah, okay, yeah, exactly this one. So I'd say this is where we're going. This is what we're trying to do. Of course, if I'm talking about myself, doing startup is not easy. It has lots of sleepless nights and anxious days, if I may say so, full of hard decisions and big losses and huge wins, of course. But it helps becoming stronger. Yeah, I'd say so.
How do you feel nowadays, ending up your days? Do you feel that producing a startup is eating up on you? Is it causing anxiety? Is it lonely? Like, what and how do you feel that other founders are feeling starting these startups and putting all these mountains of pressures on themselves?
Well, I'd say you're completely right. Yeah, I mean, it is lonely at times. It is difficult lots of times, and but on the other side, I always think to myself, what could I do differently? You know, I mean, I could maybe, instead of creating something for this world, I could lie on the sofa whole day watching TV. It's a possibility for me, of course. I could be, I don't know, working a 9 to 5 job. I mean, I still am now because I still need money aside of the startup, but I could do just that and then chill the whole evenings. But in the end, I don't think that it would make me more happy. Well, of course, you have to separate the happiness now and here, yes, and the long-term happiness, which happens through creating value for the society and giving back as much as you can. And this is where I think my place is, not necessarily creating now Meetelp. Uh, Meetelp was just an opportunity for me to express myself and to, well, leave the world a better place than I found it, I'd say, yes. And I feel strength every day that I create something. And I think that I wouldn't feel that if I was lacking all the time.
Building a startup vs working at a 9 to 5, what is fulfilling for you? Is it the fact that it is scaling and you're seeing it grow on a daily basis? And do you think the startup life is for most?
Well, working a 9 to 5 is quite chill. You don't have many risks. If you're doing your job right, you don't have many, I don't know, anxious nights, anxious days, because if you're doing okay, you're just getting by in your life, yes? And this is great for some people. I mean, startup life isn't something for everyone, yes? I have friends who would definitely suck at it. They don't have I wouldn't say courage, but I'd say the discipline to work and through everything, yes. Um, but it's a great opportunity for people. I mean, it's not about a startup, it's about creating something on your own and doing good for the society. I think it's combining the two main values um, that are helping you fulfilling your, if I may say, your destiny as a human. This is my opinion, of course. This is my thinking, but this is, yes, I think this is why I started a startup, and this is for people who are who want to start a startup or who are doing startups. This is the way to go.
What is different with Meetelp and BetterHelp?
So, Meetelp, I'm not sure if I can say it yet because we're building something very different now and we're building something very new. But for a moment, I'd say that we're focusing on the matchmaking side, yes, on creating the best um, therapeutic alliance between the clients and the therapists, while, as we know, BetterHelp is focusing on availability and creating and giving therapy for everyone all around the world. So I would say that we, I mean, our niche is quality, while theirs is quantity. So I would say so.
What's your plan to become a unicorn? That's $1 billion valuation. So how fast do you want to get there?
Oof, that's a hard question for a first-time startup. Um, I mean, our plan is in the next 5 to 10 years to become a unicorn. This is where we're heading. I think from some view of point, we're just at the start of our journey. Of course, we have a lot to look back on already, but in terms of really big companies, we're just at the start. And who knows how long it will take in the end, but I hope it will take just 5 to 10 years. It would be lovely if it would be that much.
And how? Marketing, great product,
I
understanding
think
your
the most,
customers. What's your superpower?
um, I don't know if it's a superpower. I think it's a necessity for us to listen to our customers the best we can. We have forms, interview scripts, and so on in as many places in the app, in the web as we can. So we can change our app according to the needs of our clients as fast as possible. So I'd say this is our strength, and this is a necessity in these days for most startups to grow and to get big.
What are your top goals for this year? Your top three
Struggles?
goals, but since you're saying it, also struggles.
Okay, so well, our goals for this year is to I'd say one of the biggest ones is to launch at least a trial in America, in the United States, and to see if there's another market for us, to see if there's something different from the Europe. Another one is to finish our product market fit stage, which we are at now, and to fully understand our customers' needs and to maybe be a bigger change in the system. This is one of our biggest goals, not only this year, but every year, to be the biggest change in the, yeah, in the system, in the industry. Yes, I'd say so.
Do you feel that Lithuania is an advantage? Tell me about like starting a startup from that part of the world and not Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah, that's a great question because we we always hear about how great it is to be there in this part of the world. Yes, and sure, in some parts it is great. You have the whole community around you of smart, I would say even genius people. Yeah, but there are many many startups who started in Europe and some even in Lithuania who have grown to be one of the biggest players in many industries. And that means that it may have different challenges, but on the other side, it has many different opportunities than being in the, well, overflown market of um, Silicon Valley or US overall, yes. Because there are so many startups that to be unique, you have to work really, really hard there. While being in Europe, it is quite easier to, well, find your perfect niche. I'd say so.
And where can people find out more about you and your company, Lori?
Of course. So you can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all over the social medias. Just give in Meetelp or a Meetelp app. And of course, on our website, meetelp.com. Like meet help,